11:52. Welcome back in. Millennials now make up a third of all U.S. voters. That's according to the Pew Research Center. They roughly tie baby boomers as the largest generation to make up the American electorate. But here to talk about the election from the millennial perspective, we have Amber Muller, a Democrat. She is the president of the student government at the University of Maryland, Baltimore. And then we also have Chris Tomlinson, who is with the Kathy Szeliga campaign, a Republican, a Democrat here with us tonight. So this has been a little bit of a nail biter, even more so than I think a lot of people thought. Chris, we'll start with you. You guys had a tough night with the campaign, Kathy Szeliga losing, but on the other side, you might take home the big prize.
Yes. I think the last results just came in was Wisconsin, which, I mean, that's a correct Wisconsin. Yeah, I mean, that is a big deal. I mean, that's a part of the blue wall. I mean, the blue wall, it's crumbling like blue cheese, I think. I mean, it's coming down.
Yeah, Amber, it seems like Maryland, it's always been such a blue state, and you just always have these many local victories to lean on. But what's happened nationally that's led to what is getting very close to looking like a Donald Trump presidency?
You know, I've been thinking about this a lot myself. I've been thinking about what draws some of my peers, some millennials, to the Trump campaign. And I think it's the promise of something different. I think they're frustrated with the wrong people. But I think that promise is what's really pulling. And, you know, frankly, Trump is a promoter. He's always been a promoter. In the 90s, when his businesses started to go bankrupt, he sold stock that almost immediately failed. So I think this is him selling bad stock again, honestly. And I don't think he's going to do what those people want him to.
But did Hillary Clinton and the Democrats underestimate Trump as a candidate from the beginning?
I mean, absolutely. I think the Republicans initially underestimated him in the primary.
Yep.
I think the Democrats, they had some polls that were saying that if Bernie Sanders had won, who I initially did support, that he would have had a better chance beating Trump, but no one really thought Trump would get that far. So I think that's how we're in this predicament today.
So Chris, looking at it from the state campaign and then from a national campaign, how important are millennial voters?
I mean, pretty important. I think they're a big element of that silent majority that you keep hearing about this, about these voters that haven't yet come out. I mean, I saw it all the time up in Carroll County. I've been out. I was at early voting for 8 straight days. I was out there all day today from 7 till 7 when I had to come down here. And I mean, you're seeing people come up who have never voted in their lives, people who registered just for one reason, that was to vote for Donald Trump.
You know, certainly Donald Trump has his supporters who are loud. You hear from them. Do you think that he has a lot of quiet supporters, though, who maybe don't want to admit to people for fear of maybe being public shamed from supporting him?
Absolutely. I mean, I work in Anne Arundel County, and I don't have a Trump bumper sticker on my car. I mean, even living in Carroll County, I mean, I know my parents, they would not put a Trump yard sign in their yard because fear that someone might mess with their house. I mean, even in counties where you would find it a safe zone, I mean, people feared retaliation, and they were scared to admit it. And I think we're starting to see that as the results come in.
And I think that's disappointing in an election all around. I mean, that you feel like you cannot put a sign up in your front yard to support your own candidate.
Well, the hope is that there's going to be some kind of healing process that goes on after all this, but we'll see how that goes. Chris, Kathy Szeliga decided that she would stick with Donald Trump. Governor Hogan, many months ago, said he would not vote for Donald Trump in this election. What was that decision-making process like for your candidate, tying herself to Donald Trump's fortunes as well?
Well, Kathy was kind of in an awkward position, which I would imagine almost anybody running for Congress or Senate.
Because Hogan had endorsed her.
Yes.
But not Trump.
Yes. I mean, I saw it every day. I mean, making calls, meeting voters. I mean, you would get you'd get people that come up and say, "Oh no, I'm not backing Kathy because she's backing Trump." But then you would get people that would come up and say, "Oh no, I heard that she said one thing bad about Trump, so I'm not backing her." So it was a lose-lose. You couldn't make all the Republicans happy, and certainly not Democrats, because I mean, you would need Democrats to possibly win in a state where it's 2-1.
Amber, I want to get back to the millennial vote. What do you think the biggest issues with millennials right now is?
I think it depends on if you're looking at millennial Republicans or millennial Democrats. I think Trump has managed to scare a lot of millennial Republicans into voting for him when it comes to national security, when it comes to dealing with Russia. NPR had a great piece the other day where they were describing our military and compared to Russia's, and we're still the leading nation as far as military is concerned. Russia's in their third year of a recession. You know, Putin's a lot of talk. We don't have to play patty cake with Putin. But so that's what I think the Republican millennials are looking at. And I think that everyone else, the millennial Democrats, they're looking at student debt, they're looking at health care, they're looking at the economic situation in America. I think those are the major issues.
If Trump ends up winning this and becomes the president, where do Democrats go from here? What do you do in that type of environment?
Well, the one thing that we can say for Trump is that he hasn't laid out a lot of particular policies that he wants to enact, and most of them have been very vague anyway. So I think that we encourage him to let the states make up their own mind, and at least here in Maryland, I hope we'll be sitting pretty with our Republican governor who maintained his integrity and not endorsing Donald Trump.
And on the other side of that, if Hillary were to come out and win tonight, how does she get all of the voters? I mean, this was such a divisive election. People are just really one side or the other. How does she get the people who did not vote for her to come and say, you know what, okay, let's back her. She's now the president.
So Hillary Clinton is relentless. She has been for the last 30 years in politics. I truly believe that if Hillary Clinton wins, she will make lives better for every American, whether they like it or not. I think that's how she's run her campaign. I think that's how she's run her life. And so I think we're going to see the proof in the pudding.
All right. Well, Chris, Amber, thank you so much for being here. The millennial vote, huge,
Thanks.
and we are waiting patiently.
Yeah, we'll see what happens
results.
next. Well, the more than year-long race for the White House all led up to tonight.
Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton won many of the states traditionally won by their political parties, but in the all-important battleground states, the votes are still being counted. ABC's Lauren Lister has more.